Hey everyone, it's Nate here with Element Van Life. Just wanted to do my Tuesday Q&A video, guys. I do these every other Tuesday. The way it works, you post your questions in the most recent Tuesday Q&A video, and then I'll answer them in the upcoming Tuesday Q&A video. So post your questions in the comment section below, and I'll answer them in the next one. We got a lot of great questions to go over this week, so let's get started. I apologize, it's a little dark right now, guys. I'm getting it shot, and I've got a light on me to hopefully brighten it up a little bit, but just have to bear with me for now. First question comes from Van Life, My Life on Wheels. He says, hey Nate, now that you have a job in New Orleans, how long do you plan on staying there before hitting the road again? As of right now, guys, I just started this job last week, and I'm planning to be here for a little while. I would say at least 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. But you never know. You never know how things go. But I so far so good with the job, and I plan to stick with it as long as I can. So that's the plan for now. Next question comes from Thrivalist. He says, you mentioned a space heater, but what brand? Mr. Buddy, okay without ventilation. So I think he's talking about the, or she's talking about the space heater that I had when I was in North Dakota. That was just a cheap little AC space heater from Walmart. I think I paid just under $10 for it. I forget the name of the brand. I think it started with a P. It was a white little space heater that I got from Walmart. They're everywhere, a little fan-powered one. And I used that because I had AC power at the campground when I was at the sugar beet harvest, so it was nice to kind of keep things warm inside the element. I got rid of it since then. I don't even have it anymore. I gave it to a friend down here in New Orleans, and I don't even have one. I have thought about getting a Mr. Buddy heater, but as of right now, the ventilation is a little bit of a concern. Obviously, I know it also causes extra condensation for a propane heater to run. So, unless it gets really, really cold here in New Orleans, I think I'll probably be okay without it. But maybe I'll get one at some point. She also asked a question. Saw that you have some curtains you put up with magnets. Are they the magnets in the early video? So, which I think I do show them in an earlier video. I think one of them is called Living in a Van in the City. I think I show it up on but I don't really talk about it too much, so I can talk about it now. Those magnets are like super strong magnets. You can get them, I think they come 2 to a pack. They're relatively expensive. I think they're like $4 for a 2-pack of them, but they're excellent. I mean, they don't really come off very easily. So those I got from Home Depot. I think you can also find them at Walmart too, though. They're just like these really strong magnets that you get in a 2-pack, and they're pretty big. They're thick little ceramic tiles, but they definitely do the job. Next question comes from John Schechtel. He says, JP here, quick question. What is your food situation like? Are you content with how you're eating, or do you wish to improve? That's actually that's a good question. Right now, since I got back to New Orleans, I've been eating out a ton. It's really hard to not eat out in New Orleans because there's so many great places to eat. I mean, the city is known for its food. So, and I have a lot of friends here as well. So we're always wanting, like, when we hang out, we're going to go out and eat and stuff like that. So I've realized that I'm going to need to budget a little more for eating out while I'm here. But I do also wish to cook a little bit more and to try to eat a little bit healthier as well. So to answer your question, yeah, I am looking for ways to improve. I am trying to eat more vegetarian dishes and not as much meat. I think that will help a little bit in terms of me feeling better. I don't know, but it's not that I feel bad, but I just realized that I probably should try to eat a little bit better than I do. So definitely trying to an extent, but also I'm going to be eating out a lot while I'm here in New Orleans, and that's just how it's going to be. Next question comes from Lance Guillen. He says, hey Nate, question about the day when the city of New Orleans put a boot on your vehicle. This was just a few days ago, guys. So how did you go to work, and how did you get to the city hall to resolve your issues if you couldn't move your booted vehicle? I have, like I said, I have a bunch of friends here in New Orleans. One of my good friends came and picked me up and brought me downtown. He had got off work a little bit early, so he was able to do that before city hall closed. So he drove me downtown. I took care of it while the boot was on the vehicle, and then he drove me back uptown to get back to work. It only took a couple of hours that I had to be away from work, and took care of the whole situation. He said that's crazy that they didn't notice you were inside the car. I wonder if anyone's ever been towed while sleeping in their vehicle. I don't know. I've heard that it's illegal to be towed while you're sleeping in a vehicle, or if you're in the vehicle, it's not legal to tow, but I'm not really sure. Hopefully I never encounter that. Cindy Michaels has the next question. She says, "Hey Nate, new watcher from Michigan. Do you ever camp out in viewers' lots or yards? If not, do you ever hang out with them? Good luck and safe travels." Thank you. No, I never really camped out in a viewer's lot or yard yet. I have met a couple of viewers, just a couple here and there. When I was traveling, when I was going through certain areas, I was moving pretty quickly. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time except for in one area, except for maybe in North Dakota. So I was kind of moving around quite a bit and trying to see a lot. So I never really did that, but definitely, I am open to meeting folks, if they're around, and definitely something I enjoy doing. Next one comes from Blandine Leckens. They say, "Hi Nate, do you ever feel lonely? Do you consider having a dog traveling with you? Cheers from France." So not really in terms of getting lonely. Even when I'm on the road and traveling and I don't have all my friends around like I do here in New Orleans or in San Diego, it's really, I'm relatively introverted as it is, so when you're traveling and when you're out, if you put yourself out there, you will meet new people here and there, and that just got to take advantage of those opportunities to hang out with other folks. But for the most part, I really don't find myself getting too lonely, at least not too often. And if I do, I can always pick up the phone and call friends from all over and talk to them and catch up with them and that kind of thing if I'm on the road and stuff as well. I have considered having a dog travel with me. Unfortunately, I think the element is just way too small. I would want to get like a smaller dog, but the element is just way too small to make that happen. And maybe if I upgrade to like a bigger van or like a Class B RV, which at some point could definitely happen in the future, then that would be something I would be open to. Absolutely. A1 DJ Paul says, "Please show more of your car and how you live in it, space bed, cooking, storage, etc. Thanks." Yeah, if you check out a lot of the videos that I have, they do go into detail of that, and I am planning to do a more detailed tour. I've made a bunch of upgrades to the Element since my first tour, and obviously there's quite a few new subscribers and all that as well, so I want to share an updated tour of the Element, and I'm going to do that pretty soon as well. Next question comes from Wendy Williams. She says, "Nate, I'd be nervous about not having full visibility through the windows while driving. Do you remove all the reflectix when you're driving, or do you just leave it there?" Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, I really typically don't remove the reflectix. I just kind of leave it there. It doesn't really bother me that much. I've gotten really used to it. Even before I had the Element like all built out inside, I was still driving around with reflectix on the windows just because I was getting ready, I guess. And I have the little side mirrors, the little small ones that show the blind spot, so those work out really well and definitely do the job. The next question comes from Shelly Scott. "Have you ever thought about working as a hostess at a national park?" Yeah, that's actually, I did think about that. When I was in Yellowstone, I guess I overheard a conversation with a couple of folks, and they were talking about it and listening to what they had to say about it, and they didn't seem very happy with the experience, but that was just one instance. It's definitely something I've thought about doing. Unfortunately, there aren't really a whole lot of national parks by the coast, so maybe Big Sur, but for the most part though, there really aren't too many, so I wouldn't really be able to spend a lot of time I guess surfing, and that's something that I would want to be able to do if I was working that sort of job. I think being close to the outdoors, but I've thought about maybe doing a summer at like Glacier or Yellowstone. I think that would be pretty cool, and definitely something I would consider for the future, maybe at some point. Next question comes from Gary Cole. They say, "Nate, do you have to pay for the RV park, or does the company own that?" Neither, actually. I didn't have to pay for it. He's talking about the sugar beet harvest. For that, the company pays for it. So it was owned by this. It was a state park, but the company rented it out and pays for it on behalf of all the work campers. Did you get to explore the area in terms of site and what people do there? Great videos and keep up the good work. Thank you. Yeah, in terms of like Grand Forks, I got to explore around the area a little bit. It was a huge hockey town. They have the University of North Dakota there, so everybody loves talking about hockey and the college hockey team. They're a really good team. I didn't get a chance to go to a game. Tickets were insanely expensive, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But yeah, it seemed like I got to meet quite a few folks from the area, and most of them kind of say, "Oh, it's a boring area," and all that. They seem, but I thought it was pretty nice. I wasn't there in the middle of the winter though. I'm sure it gets a lot worse around then, but it was, it was cool. I definitely enjoyed the experience of going up there and spending a month in North Dakota. I mean, it was pretty cool. Next question comes from Diane Schooley. She says, hello, Nate. You always seem so positive and seem to genuinely enjoy your lifestyle. Does your family watch your channel to see how happy you are and how well you're faring? If so, do they seem to be more understanding as time passes? Thanks for sharing your journeys and stay safe. So to answer the second part of your question, they do seem to be becoming a little bit more understanding. I mean, they're certainly not huge fans of it, and I'm thinking that they're just hoping that it'll pass and that I'll never do this again, in the future. But yeah, that's how it is. They do not know about my channel though, or at least I don't think that they do. I haven't told them about it, so I don't think that it would be a good thing for them. I think my mom would be really stressed out about it and worried about it, and think that I'm crazy for doing this, not just living in the element, but also having a YouTube channel. So I don't know. It is what it is, but I haven't personally told them or anyone in my family about it just yet. Aaron and Jake Vlog says, Q&A, you should get a Twitter account to keep us posted on your trips. It will help your followers keep up with your journey. What do you think? I have so many social media accounts. I mean, I don't know. Just between Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, I mean, it's a lot to manage those three. So I've never really used Twitter, and I don't even post enough on Instagram, to justify having a third or fourth, if you count, I guess YouTube counts, so it would be a fourth social media account. It's a lot, so not right now. I don't think I'm going to do a Twitter account. Maybe if there's enough support for it, I guess I'll consider getting one. But next question comes from Alex. They say, hi Nate, I'm living vicariously through you. I envy your lifestyle. Question, how long do you plan on living the van life? Is there a planned end time? No, right now there's not a planned end time. I plan to do this as long as I possibly can, and I don't really plan to give it up. I guess if it gets to the middle of the summer and I'm still working this job and I don't want to give up this job here in New Orleans, then I'm probably going to have to figure something out, because you definitely cannot comfortably live the van life in July and August in New Orleans. It gets incredibly hot here, so that's a long time down the road, though. Who knows what will happen by then? So. But if I have to take a 2-month break from it or a 3-month break from it and then come back to it, then I obviously will do that to keep a great job if I'm really enjoying the job. But we'll see how it is, 8 months from now. Next question comes from Charles Jacques. He says, hey Nate, what type of computer and spreadsheet software do you use in the van? Also, since you have to store food in there, do you ever have a problem with bugs or roaches? So the second part, not really with bugs or roaches. I mean, occasionally, every once in a while, there'll be a little bug around here. I've been lucky, knock on wood, with that so far. I do try to keep things as clean as I can and as organized as I can. And then, in terms of computer, I just have it's a Lenovo IdeaPad Yoga. It's a little bit of an older little Ultrabook. I've had it for a few years now, and the spreadsheet software, I just use Excel. I think I had an old copy of Excel 2007, and I'm very comfortable with Excel, so I just use that to track all kind of things, finances, and pretty much everything. I like to track things. Next question comes from Suapete C. I don't know if I said that right, but can I ask what heater you got for $10? Yeah, that was just the space heater that I got at Walmart. It was a white space heater. I can't remember the name brand of it because I got rid of it already. I don't have obviously AC hookups anymore, so I don't really need it. But it was at Walmart. If you go to the fan space heaters, I mean, they're all over the place at Walmart. There's a bunch of them for around that price range. Matt P says, what was your motivation for making a YouTube channel? That's a good question. I mean, when I was considering this whole lifestyle and getting ready to do this, obviously the first thing I did was find cheaprvliving.com and went from there. And then, I know I've touched upon this in other videos, but eventually I started finding van dwellers on YouTube, and then I was watching all these van dwelling videos, and I started to realize like this is something that is definitely possible. I got a lot of inspiration from YouTube to do this, so I felt like the right thing to do for me was to continue to to just share my experience and share that with folks so that they can so that I can maybe inspire other people like the YouTubers at the time inspired me. So that's kind of my biggest motivation for it. I wanted to share my build and all that. And then also when I was looking for ideas to convert the Element, I used YouTube and everything else, and I didn't really see one that was too much like this in terms of an Element camper conversion, so I wanted to share that, and then it just kind of built from there and it has become what it is now. But the next question comes from Chris LaPlante. He says, hi Nate, Thanks for what you do. You provide a genuine public service. Thank you. You have mentioned that your student loans have been a significant burden on you. Knowing what you know now, do you regret going to college? Would you suggest that young people rethink college if they want to live a more unfettered life? I don't regret going to college at all. I don't regret even going to the university that I went to. If I hadn't gone to that university, I wouldn't have branched out as much. I wouldn't have challenged the norms that I challenged, and I might not have ever developed the lifestyle that I have now. So I certainly don't regret it. I learned a lot by going to the school that I went to, and yes, it's brought me a bunch of debt, but I'll get that debt paid off, and from here on out, I probably will not spend that amount of money on anything for that I can't pay for out of pocket or come close to paying for out of pocket. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of debt in general. But that I certainly don't regret going to the school that I went to and all that. In terms of suggesting that young people rethink college if they want to live a more unfettered life, I mean, I think that there are certainly values of going to college. I mean, it's really hard for me to say. Obviously, everyone's situation is going to be different. Maybe, in terms of my situation, had I been able to go back in time and think like, oh, should I have spent $50,000 that I didn't have on school? It's like, if I could have maybe avoided that, and if I had realized the trouble, maybe I would have gone to a different school. But I'm very happy with the way that it all worked out. And like I said, it's hard for me to suggest for other people because everybody is in a different situation. Some folks it's better to go to college, and other folks it might not be. They might be better off doing a trade school or doing something else, whatever they're better at, whatever they feel more comfortable with. People can do a lot of different things, so it's hard to make a specific suggestion. The next question comes from Natural Nomad. They say, "Hi Nate, glad you made it through the sugar beet harvest. I'm planning to get a Dometic CF18 and was wondering how it's working for you with your current power setup. Does it cool well?" So yeah, the CF18 is awesome. I absolutely love it. It's been a great fridge for me and a great investment. In terms of my current power setup, I am struggling a little bit right now, guys. I just it's hard to park in the sun here in New Orleans because a lot of the streets have like these big like oak trees and big old trees that hang over the street. So it's hard to get that solar all the time. So I do have to be very mindful of that, and I'm not, because it's partially shaded, so I'm not getting 100% solar output or even close to it. So I am struggling a little bit with that. I'm thinking eventually I'm going to need to upgrade to get more solar panels, and then obviously continue using the isolator that I installed as well back when I was in Washington. But in terms of the fridge itself, it absolutely does a great job cooling, and it also has a built-in feature to shut off if the battery gets below 50%, so it won't kill my battery and destroy it, which is another good thing. And then it does a great job of keeping the food and the drinks cold and everything like that. I haven't really had too many problems with it, so I definitely recommend it. Next question comes from Kurt M. He says, "Thanks for doing the Q&A, Nate. I know you must be worn down working the 12-hour shifts. You've piqued my curiosity about physical addresses. What exactly are you using? I've heard of using mail forwarders and a physical address, but those are in Florida. It's South Dakota, Florida, Texas, and Nevada. How do you handle registration for tax for your vehicle and all that?" So yeah, I have like a permanent mailbox in New Orleans that I've had this whole time that I've been doing this, and that's what handles my residency, essentially my registration for my car and all that. And then when I'm in a different location, if I'm going to be there for a long time, I'll get a temporary address over there and use that as well. So if I need like things mailed to me there and all that, I'll use that. But I do try to maintain it. Eventually, I will. If I am going to be on the road, and once I get back on the road, maybe after I leave New Orleans, I'm thinking about switching to one of those other states because they do have the mail forwarding services, which are great. And then obviously there's other benefits. There's no income tax in Florida. I don't think there is in South Dakota, Florida. I already said Florida, and Texas, and maybe even Nevada. I'm not sure about Nevada, but there are definitely better states than Louisiana to call your home base if you're full timing on the road year round. Rob Roberts says, "Have you checked out Chris the Freelancer's channel on YouTube? Probably could help you with freelancing a bit." I have not checked it out. Actually, I'll definitely check it out and see what that channel has to say. Could always use as much help as I can with the whole freelancing thing. It's certainly not easy. Next question comes from Chris. He says, "I notice you hunching every time you're in your van. Are you experiencing any neck pain?" Not really. I don't really spend a lot of time in here. I mean, yeah, I shoot these Q&A videos in here because it's quiet and it's easy to do, so it helps to, obviously get the audio and make a better quality video. When I'm in here, I can sit with my computer on my lap and all that. But I really don't spend a lot of time like hanging out in here all day. The point of living in my vehicle is to live out of my vehicle and to be outside and be exploring in the world and stuff like that. So I really don't experience too many neck or back pains. I mean, if I do, I think it's more from like the sports I've been playing and stuff like that, getting sore from surfing and playing sports and stuff. That's more of the source of it, I think. Next question comes from Static Campervan. They say, I'm curious to know how your auxiliary battery charging system is working for you. Such a smart idea for going the isolator. I'm not sure why more people don't utilize that method. I do wonder how you monitor the charge on the battery. That might take a video of its own. Yeah, I think at some point I am going to do a power system update video and go over all of that. But in terms of how it's working, it has been really, really great. It doesn't charge things as quickly as if I had an isolator, so I think that's probably why people don't forego it, because it would obviously be faster to have a true isolator in there to pull the whole put the whole current from the alternator straight to the deep cycle battery so that it could charge up faster. But for what I need it for, it does top it off really well. I just have to remember to turn it on. Sometimes I just forget to use it, and I don't really drive around a lot when I'm in the city. I don't really spend a lot of time with the engine running, so it has been a little bit more difficult without driving an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours a day like I was doing when I was on the road, or more than that. So other than that, though, it's been working very well and doing exactly what I need it to do. So I'm very happy with it. And the last question comes from LT Sierra BC. They say, have you considered getting a pop-up tent top for your Element since you typically stay in warm climates? I've thought about it, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. The e-campers cost like $5,000, $6,000, sometimes even like $7,000 to install. So there's really no way that I could afford to install that. And it's more than the value of the vehicle. I don't even know if it's going to add too much value to the vehicle. So I don't think it would be a worthwhile investment for me. It's also not really good for stealthiness either. It doesn't affect it that much. They are pretty cool, but I don't think it's something I'm going to do at any point. So that sums it up for all the questions, guys. The next Q&A video will be in 2 weeks. That'll be on November 15th. Obviously, if you have questions, post them in the comment section below, and I'll answer them on the one on November 15th. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.